Terra Luna is likely to go over $100 again, but is it a correction or a resumption of the bull trend? Well, I'm going to show you why the downside is more highly probable. You want to be on high alert, especially if you're holding Terra Luna. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. So here's a video we did on Luna. It was on, this was on, I think it was March 10th. Let me just zoom in a bit more, or zoom out, should I say. There you go, March, where's the date? There we go, March 10th, Terra Luna, March 10th. And what we said on March 10th was, it looks like we're making this 5-wave sequence to the upside. And after a 5-wave sequence, you should get a correction. And it was basically this move to the downside that we were focused on. We said we should see that. And what's happened so far with Terra Luna since? Look at this, perfect. We've got this massive move to the downside. We want to be aware of this because when we're looking at Elliott waves and Fibonacci, especially Elliott waves, Ralph Nelson Elliott figured out in the 1800s that markets moves in 5s and 3s. And what we identified in advance was Terra Luna has done a nice 1, 2, a very bullish 3, textbook 4, and a nice 5. And after a 5-wave sequence, what you'll tend to see is a bigger degree correction, a nice big, what's referred to as a minimum as an A, B, C, wave 2 correction. So when we're looking at Terra Luna now, this is what we're going to focus on, is right now we've had this move to the downside, which we anticipated in advance. So if you look at the March 10th video, we anticipated it in advance. And it went from almost $120 right the way down to $77. It's around 30-40% pullback. But we want to look at what's happening right now. Is this movement to the upside going to be a continuation to the previous trend? Or should we anticipate downward movement? Now, by the way, if you haven't ever seen Elliott waves before, and the 5s and the 3s and the 3 key rules, you can actually take my free Elliott wave masterclass in the link below. You'll be taken to this page, and I cover the high-level principles that you need to know so you can see what's happening in the market. So you're 2 steps ahead as opposed to 2 steps behind. And it's the way, and I cover it in the masterclass, how we covered and got to this analysis with Terra Luna, and then this occurred. Wouldn't it be great if you could project in advance this move? Well, that's what Elliott waves allows you to do. So what we're going to focus on now is really breaking this part down. I'm going to tell you my thinking on why I believe that we are not likely. Again, we can only do probabilities and never certainties, but the market has spoken to us. It's reflected its psychological mood, and it tells us that it's unlikely that this high should be exceeded based on what's happened. What's happened so far? I'm just going to reiterate. We've had a really clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this part of the 5 has also broke down to a very clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is textbook Elliott wave, textbook. And we also did some Fibonacci ratio projections, and then we've had this big move down and taken out this swing low and this swing low. So these two, there's quite a few indicators that says this is a confirmation of a wave 1, of a wave 5, of a 5. Like, what do you get? All right, well, we're going to look at 3 degrees of count today. We're going to look at the macro, so wave 1. But if a wave 1 is complete, what comes next on a macro? Well, what comes next typically is the wave 2. And I'm going to write these out as well, just so we get real clarity on the thinking. So the macro, what we're on right now, I'm going to pop it up here. I'm going to type in, actually I got this new keyboard. Let me make my life easier. I'm going to just type it over here. Macro, we are saying is wave 2, which basically tells us is down. And what we're going to do is I'm going to color this red to make it really, really clear that the macro degree wave count is down. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Now what we want to look at is what is the next level of degree count down. Well, typically when we have a wave 2, what more often than not occurs is a three-wave structure. We're going to always anticipate a minimum of three waves. Normally an A, normally a B, and then normally a C. It'll be something like this more often than not. We saw this over here as well. Look at this, A, B, C. On a micro degree count, we also saw it here. Look, A, B, C. Overlapping waves, ABCs are very, very common. And when we identify them in advance, we want to leverage that information. So in terms of ABC, to make it even clearer here, let's just draw it like this. What part of the ABC are we on if it unfolds this way? Well, we're clearly on this wave A part, right? So when we're looking at this, I'm going to type in the term intermediate. So we've got the macro viewpoint, the macro psychology, and now we're going to zoom in and go, okay, what's the intermediate? It looks like to me it's a wave A of a wave 2. Right, so now we can see the intermediate wave is also down. And then what we're going to do is going to do one more degree of wave count. By the way, if you're brand new and you have never done Elliott waves, especially if you haven't done sub-degree count, so we're looking at waves within the waves that give us a massive clue on what's likely to occur. So what is happening right now in this part of the market? What does this look like to you? Well, to me, this looks like it's an initial wave 1 on the way down and then a potential wave 2 on the way up. But of what? Of this A, right? It's actually quite advanced. I actually covered this in my courses. We got a 90% discount happening on my courses. So if you enjoy the masterclass, you can buy the courses. You get an invite to my private Telegram. We do weekend workshops. But it's going to be important just for us to get a good viewpoint on Terra Luna. So this over here looks like, to me, it looks like a wave 1 of an A. And it looks like we're forming a wave 2 of an A. So we're just going to now pop this here. I'm just going to move this here. And we're going to type in micro. And what we're saying in the micro is actually, it looks like a wave 2 of the wave A of the wave 2. This is going to make perfect sense to you because I'm actually going to do one more degree of count. I did this in the last video because it depends on what degree that you're trading. If you're trading a certain wave degree, then there's certain wave counts that are important. So we are going to do one more. The reason being is what I'm seeing right now looks like a wave 2, but it looks like we're going to get some type of ABC of a wave 2 before we get a further move to the downside. And this will be a sub-micro, bang. So what part of this are we on? I'm going to put it like this. Sub-micro. It looks like we are on the wave A of the wave 2, of the wave A, of the wave 2. I know, it's a mouthful. But the main thing that we're going to really focus on here, because it depends on your trading plan and what degree. All we know now is the wave. Let me just clarify here. This wave 2 is actually on the upside, so we're going to change that to green. And this wave A is also on the upside, which we're also going to label as green. So to put this into English, we are now focused on the macro. The macro degree count is this, right? So clearly that's down. If it's a wave 2, it's down. And then when we look at the intermediate, we're saying a wave A, which is this movement here, this first degree of the wave 2, well, that's also down. So hence it's red. And then we move there to the micro. Well, the micro is actually up. Right, we're saying this, we look like we're on a wave 2 of this wave 1, 2 on the way up. So that's green. And then the sub-micro is that we look like we're on this wave A. I'm hearing myself speak, and I'm like, okay, it's a bit advanced. I know. But what we're going to finish on today, I'm going to make perfect sense of this for you. But what this really is going to allow you to do is be 2 steps ahead of the market to know what's likely to occur and what side of the market you should position yourself on. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to get just what we're going to focus on here is the following. I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to keep it like this. All right, so I'm just going to keep it like this. Keep it nice and focused. Hopefully you're finding this helpful. Try to simplify it, not overcomplicate things. So what we're going to do here is, what is this likely move to the upside? When is it likely to end before we see probable continuation to the downside? All right, we're going to do 3 things. First, we're going to do a Fibonacci retracement. So we're looking at price. More often than not, a correction occurs 50, 62, and 78.6%. I'm going to keep it really, really simple. I'm going to do something called Fibonacci time. Just trying to get a point here. Bang. All right. Most corrections occur in this wave range. So I'm going to do it like this. So we should anticipate the correction to finish by or before the end of the month in this range, like an A, B, C style structure, before a continuation to the downside. There you go. There you go. All right. So Terra Luna. All right. Keeping it simple. What we've identified today, it's quite technical today. I try not to get too technical, even though it's technical analysis, is we've identified the probabilities in the favor of a wave 2. We are on what looks like a wave 1. Look like we're forming a wave 2. By the end of the month, we'll probably see a 3, 4, 5, and then a bigger degree correction, and then a further degree correction. So this normally occurs in 3 waves. And this is what we're anticipating here. Some type of A, some type of B, and some type of C. We're talking about, September to November. September to November of sideways to down. That is what we're leaning towards when it comes to Terra Luna. Powerhouse project, but we're just looking at the psychology of buying and selling. And then after that, if it occurs like this is most common, then we should anticipate a continuation of the bull trend. That's what we're looking at over here. So I feel like I covered a lot today. How did you find that today? That was quite technical. I'm just thinking that the main thing, keep the main thing. If we just ignored everything, because there's a lot of lines on the chart. If you're not used to technicals, it can be a lot. The main thing is, let me just summarize like this. Is we should anticipate Terra Luna making a local top in the price range of $97 to $108. Most common will be buy or before. Let me just get a date over here. Let me just move this. Buy or before April 30th, thereabouts. So it's around 2 weeks or 10 days. 10 days. And then when we get that information, if it does unfold in a classic ABC style correction, like this, an ABC style correction like this, we can pinpoint with more accuracy where the local high is likely to be before we are likely, again, you hear me use the term likely, to see a continuation. And we can also project in advance how deep this would tend to be before we'll see something like a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. That's the picture that I'm reflecting, which is the first wave to the downside before we see something called a correction to the correction before we see another move to the downside. Whew, that was quite technical today. That was quite technical today. If you're not used to Elliott waves and Fibonacci, and even if you are, take the free Elliott wave masterclass combined with Fibonacci ratios, and it just shows you how to read the markets. It's literally on demand. It's free. You'll go to this page. You'll click Show Me How, pop in your email, and I give you all the value. And it's there. It's yours. At the end, you'll be offered one of my courses. We're doing a 90% discount right now. It's normally $997. No, what was it? Normally it was currently £97. It's currently £97, so it's very, very cheap. But you'll get an invite to my private Telegram. We do weekend workshops, and we do a lot of other things as well. So, did you like today's content? If you did, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We're fast approaching 15,000 subscribers, so I appreciate you. Let's finish off on a quote. Chapter 8, Henry Ford. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. I like to train. I probably train harder than most people when it comes to technical analysis, reading the markets, when it comes to just research around crypto, blockchain, the technology, decentralized finance, wallets, cross-chain, bridging, GameFi, all this new stuff that's happening because it's a new technology. And like Henry Ford said, it's been his observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. So, what kind of time allocation are you putting in and what are you learning? Are you doing purposeful practice, which is one of the key ingredients to success in anything in life? It's not just doing the motions, it's purposeful practice. How can you get better? And what I found is Elliott wave and Fibonacci combined together with momentum is one of the best ways of reading the price action so you can see what's likely to occur next and set yourself up for success with high probability. So take the masterclass, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you very soon.